Hello, friends. And I hope this is reaching you all. Because, yeah, I don't fully know what I'm doing. I'm trying a new thing. Looks like the title on my YouTube is wrong. Can I do that again? Pardon me. They don't have art as an option on YouTube. There we go. Okay. Now that should have the correct title. And we are live. Hexa, so good to see you. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. Can you hear me okay? And I apologize, my droid cam is kind of being a little funky, so we'll see how it goes. Okay, good. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been in front of a camera here. But, and we're gonna try to do some painting. Try being the operative word. I've got my little palette set up. Trying to do this without moving things around too bad. Apologies. And if you guys do hear stuff in the background, my boyfriend and his friend are racing, and then I've got a cat that wants in, but I'm gonna let him in, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, come on. Here is our little man demanding attention. This is Alistair. He's our little man. Our little Siamese mix. So we're gonna see if he manages not to get into paint or anything. I definitely keep this room off limits because they tend to, you know, be curious and jump up on things. Oh, that's so annoying. That keeps doing that. All right, so I'm currently grabbing my paints to get these on the palette here. I've got far too many, but that's okay. We're grabbing just some fundamental colors. Thank you, Hexy. Yeah, he is a gorgeous cat. I definitely fell in love with him when I saw his picture on Facebook 6.5 years ago when we got him. Yeah, I'll take some of this vivid blush as well. Okay, there. And then for our cool colors, we need some more goodies here. I've got mostly Gamblin oil paints. The 1980 brand, as well as the more expensive stuff. Oh, I don't need that. But basically I'm putting together a pretty standard palette right now that I use for skin tones. And, oh, and I just picked up this Transparent Earth Yellow Game Changer. It's a cool, transparent color, so it works really well for glazing when you need a cool yellow, like earthy yellow. Because I didn't have that for a while. All I had was like this really light yellow that just wasn't giving me the effect I wanted. And of course we got Alizarin Crimson. You want out now, bud? Of course you do. Of course you do. Can't be in and out. I'd keep it open, but the last time I did that, Dante, like, legitimately jumped up on my palette. I didn't even notice it until we saw little brown paw prints coming out of the studio. He had jumped up on the palette and stepped on, like, the burnt umber and the raw umber. So he had it looked like little poop prints all over the floor. Thankfully, they're non-toxic pigments, so we didn't have to worry too much. You know, I cleaned it up as best I could, but he got the rest, and he's still alive, so yay. How terrible is that? But yeah, let me see. What color am I missing? I feel like I'm missing a color. No? I got the black here, white, purple, green, some blush. I got some yellows on here already because they actually managed to not dry out on me. It's been about, oh gosh, I think a week now since I've painted at all. It's been kind of a rough week for me. I started taking Wellbutrin 2 weeks ago, trying to get off of, I'm on Celexa right now, but my body ultra rapidly metabolizes it, so it started to stop working. And so my doctor is going to put me on Wellbutrin. And, oh man, the side effects though were so bad, I couldn't stay on it. I had to stop. The nausea, and yeah, it's been a rough week. So, feeling a lot better today. And, yeah, let's do some painting. I'm gonna probably just stick to a couple of brushes. And there's still so much I gotta do on this painting. Alistair! Okay, I'm just gonna leave the door open. Stop it! So hopefully, here. Just keep that kind of closed to help with the sound of the guys out there. Anywho, I'm all shiny. It's a little warm in here. Turn the air up a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this paint on. Where I'm using a fast dry white because white notoriously takes long to dry. Titanium white, anyway. And this stuff dries a lot faster. And how I'm organizing my palette here, I put all, with oil paints, there's color temperatures involved. That's something I've learned with the Milan Art Institute program I'm enrolled in that I haven't worked on in a long time. But Um, basically, each color has a cool and warm version, and that's what makes oil paintings just so, gives so much more depth than like just acrylic. Because the oil paints, when you have the cool colors recede and warm colors pop out. So get out of there. So what's nice is you can achieve some really amazing effects. And the rule of thumb they've kind of taught us is to start with glazing transparents first, and then and generally cool to warm. So for me, I'm still kind of learning, so I'm a little slow. But and this green is a little awkwardly placed. But I'm just putting these colors down. That was Prussian blue. I just put down, which is a transparent blue, a very strong blue, and then dioxazine purple, which apparently is not very light fast, I've heard. So, well, I mean, it has a 1. I don't know. It might depend on the pigment and the brand. It's very thick though. This paint is a lot thicker coming out of there. Hopefully you guys can see the palette okay. Oh, right as I say that, it borders. What are you doing? Come on. There we go. There we go. I have to put black too. And I always mix colors with the black. Not everyone uses black. It's one of those things that are talked about a bit in the art world. Just lay down this blush because I think it will look nice on her cheeks. And then now we're doing some warms, sap green. And these basically, I'm going to be mixing these complementary colors to create skin tones. Instead of just using like an umber or just red and yellow and white, actually the best way is to mix complementary colors to make browns and add white to it, and you'll get some really dynamic skin tones. And so I have everything organized to make that easier. You know, red and green are complementary colors and they mix together, and then you've got blue and orange, which I don't really have out. I'll just kind of mix the yellow and red in when I need it. Though I do have an orange, I guess I might as well use it. Let's use our cadmium orange. I actually spent money on buying an orange, which is kind of strange. But the door's literally open, Alistair. He just started to meow and paw at it even though it's open. Come in. You silly boy. Anyway. I hope everyone's doing well. There you go, bud. Such a dork. And I'm using a solvent-free gel, medium, my Gamblin, to help with the drying process. And let's see. Yeah, there you go. And it's nice because I have Galkid as well, which is commonly used for, you know, oil painting, and I love it, but it's quite messy and it dries out. And I feel like I like it better when I'm in the earlier stages. So this is just nice because I can just stick out a blob of gel and it gives me that same effect, that glossy, glazy effect. And then my trusty, I always put my solvent in my used cans because they have ridges, which makes it easier to clean. And I try to keep my solvent covered as much as possible. So I think today my primary concern, what I've been kind of avoiding, is the dog. I don't have much done on the puppy here. It's still, you can still see kind of the under painting and stuff under there. So we're gonna add some opaques and start laying down some of this fur. And I'm also gonna make sure my proportions are correct. So I'm kind of thinking this might be a little big here. So I might bring in the background a little bit. To line that up. Let me actually, I'm gonna be right back, folks. And I'm gonna go grab a little tool I have to help me with the proportions. It's a pretty neat little tool. So 1 second. BRB. I don't have a BRB screen yet. I literally just have this screen. I have not really had the energy to put a lot of effort into the screens yet. I kind of want to see how the stream goes and what I want to do. I want to kind of create my own overlay. Charlie! So good to see you. Happy birthday! I hope you're having a wonderful birthday. I missed you. I need to come by Chris's streams more often. I've been so bad. I've not been on Twitch much. Oh, fun. Where'd you go? Somewhere yummy, I hope. Alistair is here as well. Ooh, yum. I'm not a big sushi fan, but I know when you are, it's like the best thing ever. So that's awesome. Oh yes, and we've got, I don't think I've told you yet, Charlie. We have 2 more cats now. We have 6 cats total. You did see them? Okay. Yeah, they're a hoot. They're adorable. They're both sleeping somewhere right now, but they're the sweetest cats. Like as sweet as Alistair is. They were both hand-raised, bottle-fed, you know, as kittens because their mom either abandoned them or got hurt or something. So yeah, they love to cuddle and get pet and play all the time. Yeah, lots of love. And they get along really well with the other cats, so it's a miracle, honestly. I was not expecting that. Because we have 4 boys, and they're very territorial. Marley! So good to see you. Hello. Hold on. Good to see you. I saw your post earlier with your, one of the pieces you were talking about, a two-piece, series, or almost like I think you had two of them that go together but could be separate too. Anyway, I always love seeing your work. But yeah, right now I don't really have anything going on. I don't have commands yet. I started like totally fresh. Mostly because I just felt so bad with my other account, and the dates and everything are just all off, and I started that account with a different purpose in mind, you know? So this time I'm being a bit more specific to art streaming, obviously. Trying to give myself some more accountability, as I'm struggling lately a lot to keep up with my work and doing it enough and all that fun stuff that comes with disabilities and depression and goodies. But you know, trying to get better, and this is just probably the easiest way for me to connect and reach out and see my friends, and you know, not have to worry about having to like redo everything. Just starting over, it's just easier, putting less pressure on myself too. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let me be right back. I gotta go grab my little proportional divider so I can make sure this dog's head's proportionate, because it looks a little off right now. Might be hard to see from your angle, but I will be right back. Okay, and I am back. And this is what I went to grab. A very cheap little $10 tool that I got on Amazon. That's just like a scaling tool, so you can take a smaller sketch, photo, drawing, whatever, and make it bigger and keep it in scale. Way easier than using like the grid method, in my opinion. And it allows you to still freehand, so you're able to really you know, put yourself in the drawing instead of just copying or tracing or whatever. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is first make sure that this is calibrated right, because I've used this for other things since. So I'm just going to, I've got my little iPad here. You can't really see it. You can kind of see the edge because it's kind of blocking my painting from this angle. But I like to just basically go right up to it. And I'm going to see... Yeah, it's not quite where it needs to be. So we're going to make it a little bigger. But this little tool right here really helped me out a lot. If anyone's struggling with drawing proportions, this little $10 tool on Amazon, worth it. I also have a bigger one, but it's really messy and it's wooden, so it's a little bit harder to keep it still, because it gets loose real fast, real easy. So that's why I bought this, because this just kind of stays where I want it. For sure, no problem, Charlie. I hope you have a wonderful day. and a wonderful birthday, especially. And thank you so much for stopping by. It's good to see you. I've missed you too. Oh man, I gotta stand on a little higher here. It's hot in Arizona. It's already in the... Shoot, I don't even know. Let's see. Yeah, it's in the 90s. Oh, 89 degrees right now. That's not too bad, I guess. It's gonna be 100 on Wednesday, though. Ugh. No bueno. Okay, so I'm wanting to make sure that this is roughly right. Okay, that is a little off. A little off. Remind me, Marley, what part of the country are you in again? If you don't mind saying, of course. You're in Texas, okay. Are you? So it gets pretty warm where you're at too, I bet, huh? Are you in like more of like desert Texas, or are you more like Houston, Texas, where you got the humidity? I've got family that's out in Austin, and okay, see, that's too short. Yeah. It gets hot everywhere these days. It feels like, I'm hearing about the poor people in England where, they don't have air conditioning. And it's getting like into the 90s there in the summers, the last couple summers. I definitely... Yeah, okay, I'm going the wrong way. I definitely feel bad for them, yeah. And or even in like Charlie she's in the Pacific Northwest. And I know in Oregon and those areas it's getting pretty hot too. And there's not really any air conditioning up there either. So I feel for y'all. Okay, one too many. I have a friend who lives in California, about an hour east of the Bay Area, like inland. And it gets almost as hot as it does here where she lives. They luckily do have air conditioning, but not quite like we do. But she doesn't do well in the heat. That's about as good as I think I'm going to get. So, let's see. Yeah. So that is off. Yeah. Yeah, that's way off. Me either. It's already here, though. It starts here in April, pretty much. And then it goes till October. About the end of October is really when it starts to cool down. So I stay inside a lot. Nice 74, 75 degrees, climate controlled. That works for me. Basically, there is nowhere in Arizona that doesn't have air conditioning, at least in the southern, or in the desert part of the state. If you don't know, Arizona is actually quite different up north, though. It's like pine trees and mountains, and, well, I mean, there's mountains in Arizona, but in the desert too, but it's like forest, very different, a lot higher elevation, than it is down here in central Arizona. I'm pretty much smack dab central Arizona. So I'm south of Phoenix, southeast of Phoenix. And, yeah. You know. It's cool. I don't mind it. Alright, so I think I'm gonna bring the dog's eye up a little bit to here. Because the angle of the dog's eyes are a little off, yeah. Oh. You can tell I'm excited to have to do this reconstructive surgery. Oh God. So I'm just mixing a little bit of purple in with the black. Just because I don't like to have it just be one black color. So it's just going to kind of look a little messy at first, but that's alright. The beautiful thing about oil paints is that it is highly forgiving. So if you mess up, all you gotta do is wait for it to dry, and then you can just go back over it. Like it never even happened. Like this ear is actually gonna go up a little bit more, and I'm gonna bring down the head a little bit. So I'm still early here, so I'm not worrying too much about the shape of the head yet, because I kind of want to have the dog kind of emerging from the dark background. And I always go a little dark before I go light, because I've found that it adds more depth when you do that. That's something I picked up with the pastels when I was doing soft pastels. It is better to be too dark, because you can always put on top of it, put light on top of it. I'm also gonna just kind of map this little collar bit in here that I haven't really touched yet. And I'm trying to see without the glare. Easier said than done. And make sure that the background blends with what I've already done, because I really don't want it to be obviously different. Because the cool thing, even if I go a little tight here, I can always bring out the fur over the background, which I'm going to pretty much do anyway, so that it looks like, you know, the dog is not part of the background. Just kind of putting some darks back in here a little bit. So I feel like I should go up here. You know, I just realized I don't have music on. I'm just going to put on some Spotify. And I don't have it showing, but I'm not recording this VOD either. Oh, you know what though? I am on Never mind. I am on YouTube, so I can't necessarily do that. I don't think. Crud. Yeah. That's a bummer. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to do that. Because I don't know. But for now, I'm just trying to... Again, I'm starting with the cools. And generally when you start with the cool transparents, you go transparent, light to dark, and then opaque is dark to light. So I've just gone right in with my black, as I tend to do a lot. But for me, I don't know. I think it just makes more sense sometimes. I'm just trying to get some more depth in these spots where they've kind of lightened up. Like that actually should be some red back there because that is the collar that we're basically painting in. Oh, but yeah, we'll figure out the music stitch. I may just do like pretzel rocks or something. We'll see. We'll see. Well, I'm glad you are enjoying it, Marley. Apologies again that keeps flickering on and off like that. It has not come back. Hold on, bud. Why are you frozen? Stop and start it. It's on Wi-Fi and my Wi-Fi isn't great in here. I'm actually, my wonderful, amazing stepfather, who I call my step Dan. His name's Dan. He's a big photographer. He loves taking photos, and he got a new camera. So he's bequeathing me his previous camera. So I get to finally have a real camera with like a real lens. So I'm hoping I'll be able to use that for my artwork going forward. Because right now I have just cheap webcams and my phone that I'm using. And my phone is not being reliable. Restart. Are we live? Alistair, there we go. Yay. Yay, bunny. He is such a ham. He's just sitting in the middle of the studio just meowing at me. Let me show you. Trying to do this without too much movement. There he is. What are you doing? Say hi to everybody. Yeah. Is that so? He's got a lot to say. Yeah. He's so funny. He sleeps with me every single night. Even though I toss and turn like a... I don't know what to compare it to, but I'm so bad I wake my boyfriend up all the time, so when he needs sleep, he sleeps in the guest room. But Alistair, he sticks with me. He just gets up, waits for me to turn over, and then comes back and gets snuggled in. He's definitely a mama's boy. And there he goes. He's left the studio, so I can concentrate, hopefully. Yeah, he's so sweet. We're so lucky with our cats. I mean, there's definitely issues, you know. He's got some digestive issues that he has trouble with his doo-doos. And we have him on a really expensive hydrolyzed diet that's like $100 a case. But, you know, he's worth it. And then we have our other cats are much lower maintenance as far as health issues go, which is good. They're all pretty healthy. We feed them a lot of wet food, so they're very spoiled, but it helps keep them from being too overweight. Because I don't know if you know, but wet food for cats is much less in calories, lower in calories than dry food is. And it's a whole lot better for them too, because, you know, they're getting a lot more moisture. Because cats in the wild, they don't actually really drink water very much. They generally get their food or get their water from their food. Or like springs and natural springs and stuff. Which is why those pet fountains are very popular. But our cats tend to kind of snuff their nose at that stuff. So we've given up on the pet fountains. But we have like 4 bowls of water around the house for them. We also just got, because having 6 cats, imagine you need a litter box per cat. So that's 6 litter boxes we have to clean every day. And with my issues, it's really hard for me to do that. I can maybe get 1 or 2 done a day without dying. For those that don't know, I have fibromyalgia and small fiber neuropathy, degenerative disc disease, pinched nerves in my neck, and they're pinching my spinal cord as well. So I can't really I have very limited energy. And I can do things, but I risk injuring myself if I lift something too heavy or bend over or, you know, you name it. I mean, I've sneezed and blown my back out before on more than one occasion. But, so we ended up finally buying an automated litter box because they can actually work with up to 4 cats. And it's awesome, but only 2 of the cats have used it so far, and they've only peed in it. So we're hoping that they start to use it, because it was expensive. It was very expensive. It was about like 500 and some change, like $600 after taxes. So, but those automated litter boxes have definitely come a long way. They used to be really, I had one when they first came out. 15 years ago or so. Probably longer than that, now I think about it. I had the first litter robot, the very first one. Oh my god, my cats were terrified of that thing. They didn't go near it. And at the time, it was only like 200. You know? Because, well, the economy was quite different then. But, yeah. It's, That's the other nice thing about oil. If you accidentally make a mark, you can always scrape it off. Just like, because like acrylic, it dries instantly, so you have to paint over it. Whereas oil, you can kind of manipulate it while it's still wet here. Which I really appreciate, because, yeah. I'm slow when it comes to painting. I'm getting faster with the program, but I've kind of slowed down again since I've been like not painting as often, not painting every day like I was, or drawing, because it's kind of a both. The program does both. It teaches you how to draw and paint with oils, because even though oils are super intimidating, they're actually way easier to paint with than any other medium. I'd say maybe gouache might be the only other easier one because it's just water, you know? Watercolor, though, is hard because you have to be mindful of your leaving highlights. And I'm just started messing around with watercolor a little bit lately. But I kind of stopped because I tend to get bored, and I'll play around with other mediums to kind of excite myself back into art, and then I'll get carried away and lose track of my goal. And I've had a number of commissions sitting on my list for a long time, and I feel terrible. So I've literally stopped everything else I'm doing just so I can focus on these commissions. This one particular I'm already late on, and it was supposed to be for this little lady's 21st birthday. And that was a week ago. So I feel terrible. But, I make sure that this is a friend of mine's daughter. Yeah, it's definitely, that's partly why, because I don't want to rush it and make it bad, right? Especially as I'm still learning. I kind of feel like I probably maybe should have not chosen to do a brand new medium for it, because this is a pretty challenging portrait. The angle on her face, getting her smile right has been driving me nuts, and her nose is off too. So I've spent almost all the time on her face. Because thank you Marley, I appreciate that. I'm happy with it so far to an extent, but I'm struggling still with laying down paint in a way that leaves the brush strokes right. Yeah, Alistair's back in here. Oh, we brought a string. So Alistair loves playing with strings. I'm going to show you. And so what he does is he drags around this shoestring, and then he'll just sit with it and meow until you play with it. Yeah. You want to play? Okay. Let me get this back up. Make sure I don't have any paint on my hands, because he is a white cat. So I'm just going to kind of multitask and play with the string on one hand while I have my paintbrush in the other. He is easily amused, so that's good. Oh, anyway. So how's your day going, Marley? Are you doing good? I hope. Just checking on the YouTubes as well. I don't think I don't think I have anyone watching over there, and that's fine. I don't really have much of a presence on YouTube yet. But I have started slowly posting videos, and the reason I wanted to do this so it was both at the same time was so that since YouTube's just better with the video part, you know, they could just stay there and live there in case anyone misses the live stream. I know, Blue Eyes. At least it's just him. More than one kitty in here is a little too much. Oh, awesome, Marley! You finished your comic? Is that the I'm sorry, I might be a little out of the loop. Is that the cat one that you were working on before? Or is this a new one that you did? Because I remember keeping up with those little web comics as you were coming out with them before I totally fell off the earth and stopped paying attention. Your character Mars. I probably would recognize the character once I saw him. Oh, me too. I appreciate you as well, Marley. Thank you. And Alistair does too. Oh, man. Let's see. Let's put a little purple. Adding some glaze. And I'm going to just try to shush up here. Get this little effect. I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, it's not really working. That's okay, because I have a trick. If I can find my Q-tips. But yeah, if you, once that's ready to view, Marley, you can, I don't know if, I still have my old Discord. I haven't rebranded it yet, but because I'm trying to, separate from the Doomstress, because that was literally the only place that I go by that now. Not that I do love that name still, but I feel like it has a bit more of a darker tone. Awesome. That would be great, Marley. And I don't necessarily want to have my art be dark. Even though I love dark art, I know it doesn't perform as well in the kind of environment that I want to have my art in. And I think for me, painting pretty things, as simple as that is, just makes me feel good, Animals and people, I just love it. And I'm really eager to really start exploring my own style instead of just copying photos like I'm doing right now, I really want to find my personal symbols and really start having a story behind what I'm doing. And that's my goal. It's going to take a while to get there, but I definitely, at first I really wanted to do like hyper-realism, and now I'm discovering I don't think I have the right temperament for hyper-realism. My personality does best with shorter projects. and I feel like I have better momentum when I keep things a little shorter and less time consuming. So we'll see how my art evolves, but it'll probably get less and less realistic as I go. But again, right now I'm still just trying to learn the forms of everything, make sure, because learning realism is key, really, to learning how to paint confidently, I'd say, and not worrying about things looking cartoony if that's not your goal, right? Cartoons are great, though. Like, that's a great art form. There's nothing wrong with it. Personally, I'm just terrible at cartoons. I'm not very good at simplifying. So that's why I've always I think, been drawn to realism. Starting out with I was, and I still am, I guess, really obsessed with the Renaissance and Baroque periods and classical art. In high school, I was, obsessed. I would read big art history books for fun. And I always resonated with, Da Vinci and the great Renaissance masters in a way, because I always found that there was beauty in people, and I loved the ideal of reaching for perfection as a humanities. Though now I realize that it's not possible. Perfection doesn't exist, and that's okay. But I still admire all of the work, really, that went into the ease of the art we have now. Like, hearing about what painters had to go through back in the day to paint. They had to make their paint, they had to find the pigments, they had to, do all of that. Well, thank you. I'm very grateful that I can just buy a tube of paint and not have to worry about making it, even though it's freaking expensive. But then it was probably even worse because of, not having a global economy, right? Her eyebrows are also really hard to get because they're very light. You guys can't see the reference I'm working from, I realized. But I've probably messed with these eyebrows several times now. And she's got really fun hair colors. I just got the base in right now. I'm trying to get a bit more of a brown edge on her arm here. Again, I'm still in with the glazing. Kind of going back over some of these parts that got a little muddied when I was painting her last time. I got a little overzealous with with blending things, so that's kind of what happened. And I'm trying to get it back. And she's got such a cute little smile here. I want to capture. She's got like a little bit of tooth showing. I don't have rendered yet. And I'm still using these cool colors because I'm working on the shadows right now. So I want those to recede. I want them to look like they're going back into space on her face so that it gives her cheeks some dimension. And then just trying to softly blend that shadow up so it looks like a rounded cheek. And I'm barely touching the canvas when I do this. Like you can see it's like barely anything coming off. And I'm kind of going up on the edges and trying to round them out here. And there's a bit more cheek to this dog than I have visible right now because I still have just the dark. But his little cheeky comes out actually over here. So that'll be light there. And then there's just a bunch of hair in front of her eye. So it's kind of, it's a bit confusing at the moment, to be honest. And that's kind of how it goes. Like you kind of lose it. You get the likeness and then you kind of lose it as you're adding the paint. And oh my God. How slow that is. Like I've been sitting here for a minute, just holding my brush in my hand, watching the very delayed, there we go, of my arm painting that. Oh. Part of the hope of doing this stream is to try to get, because I'm on my old laptop again, but this time I have it set up on I'll show you guys so you can see. Oh, there goes the droid cam again. But here you can kind of see what I've got going on. So I have my I have my computer set up on this very flimsy plastic shelf unit from Walmart, and then this old monitor stand that's holding like an iPad stand thing, and there's my computer. So I have desks in the room, but they're covered in absolute everything. In case you guys want to see a little bit of the studio here. I'll wait for it to catch up. But there's we got the bookcase back there with a bunch of stuff. There's another in progress painting I'm working on. Some finished over here. That one's finished. This horse is still in progress. And then going back around, I got some of my drawings up on the walls. So you can see I've got some paintings over there. Thanks, Marley. And then just, you know, a giant mess of supplies. And this little in progress Godzilla I'm working on for my boyfriend eventually. I'll get that done. And then of course coming back around. To here, we've got my big massive easel. And other little sketches and drawings I've done for the program. That little quick little figure drawing of my boyfriend was done in about 10 minutes. So it's not exactly great. But that's the point, is just to get loose. You know, there's a lot of time limits on these assignments, and that really helps because I can just get lost. I can spend hours on a piece looking for perfection, And um, the program teaches you how to like not do that and to loosen up and go with like your right brain versus left brain, you know? So I feel like my art has devolved a little bit in this process, like as far as being realistic, but it's actually been evolving in a way. So sorry, I'm just rambling at this point. You know, it's what I do. And Alistair is going along with it too. But yeah, I'm super excited to get this new camera. I'm gonna go get it today and see my nieces at the same time. Gosh, one's gonna be, well, they're 14. One's 14, gonna be 15, and then the other is 11, gonna be 12. So it's just crazy how fast they're growing, man. I'm feeling old. I'm also turning 40 in a couple weeks, so I think I'll probably do like a birthday stream. I think my birthday is actually on a Tuesday. No, I think it's on a Monday. So I'll probably do the stream the next day on the 3rd to celebrate. Yeah, you know, I haven't really done anything for my birthday in a while. The last couple birthdays have been pretty low key. You know, after COVID, of course, that really kind of did a number on gatherings. And we live kind of far out. Like, a lot of my friends don't live where I live anymore. So, but I think I shall try to get them out, or at least I think we'll be doing something at my mom's. Either way, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, and I might even, if we can come up with the money and the funds, my mom and her husband are planning on going to Barcelona, Spain next year. And now that I am a non-smoker, I don't have to worry about travel anymore. Like, it's not an issue. I don't have to worry about going without nicotine because I don't smoke it anymore. So it's like, heck yeah, I want to go on a 14-day cruise in Barcelona. Yes, please. That would be amazing. I've always wanted to visit Europe, and Spain and Italy and France are like the 3 main countries I want to see the most, other than maybe England as well, since I'm mostly English, so it'd be kind of cool to, you know, visit my ancestry land, I guess. I'm like 90% English, Irish, Scottish, all that. A little Scandinavian thrown in there. I'm what you call a very white person. It's kind of cool. Me and my boyfriend, we did that ancestry DNA thing, and he turned out to be 40% native. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't like know what tribe or anything he's part of, so he can't really like collect on his ancestry. But it's still kind of cool to see how to see his ancestry, you know, see his DNA. And he's from New Mexico, and like literally that's where his ancestry's from too, like, because New Mexico obviously used to be Mexico, so he is from just like this little tribe that stayed in that area pretty much forever. So it's pretty cool. But Yeah. That stuff's always a little interesting to me. It does kind of worry me too, though, sometimes, like, especially with what's going on with 23andMe. You know, I'm thinking about deleting my stuff before they go bankrupt. I should probably do that soon because I don't know when that's happening. Shoot, it may have already happened. All I know about. But, oh man, I'm trying to get this. She's got such a unique, cute, adorable nose. And it is so hard getting that angle right. Yeah, that is pretty cool. She's got like just a slight little bump. Just a slight little bump. You know, I have to say, noses are quickly becoming some of my favorite things to draw and paint because of how challenging they are. Where's my Q-tip? Q-tip to the rescue! There you are. Let's try to soften that edge a little bit. There's a fine line between like erasing your work and blending so it looks like it's natural. And that's the fine line I'm trying to figure out. It's not clicked yet though. You know, some things kind of click when you finally when it finally makes sense. This is not one of them. You also keep a Q-tip on hand when I'm painting? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's great for watercolor, I bet, too, to lift up when you accidentally put a little too much. I just bought some watercolor pigments, like literally a couple weeks ago. So I started getting into, because of my lessons actually, they talk about these like, let me show them to you guys, because they're really cool. And especially if you like doing watercolor, Marley, you'll probably love these because they're like watercolor, but they actually go opaque too. If you you know, the less water you use, the more opaque. But you can also use these just like dry too. So they're called Artgraph water soluble Taylor squares. It's the Taylor shape. Make sure. And they come in this set of 6 you can get on Amazon for like $50. And there's another little set that I got because I wanted white. So it's just like a black graphite and white value set. The black, so black comes in both of these, but the black is awesome. That's what I used on the Apollo statue that I did and showed yesterday on Doomfruit's channel. But these are great, as well as these. So ever since I discovered those, I've been like scouring for other graphite, water-soluble graphite. And this is great too for the intensity. Have super intense pigments, and they're blocks, so you can use them straight out of the tin. And it's a lot of pigment. I mean, these are huge blocks. And they're so colorful, they come right off on your hand. So, they're awesome. Highly recommend them. And these aren't that expensive either. Super easy to get since you're in the US. Of course, they might be a little more expensive now with the stupid tariffs, but I'm not gonna get into that. No politics on this channel. Yeah, of course, Marley. Anytime. I spend way too much money I don't really have on them, but I love exploring new mediums. Uh-oh, we've got Dante in the room now. I'm going to show you guys this little confrontation going on between these two. Dante is not happy. And Alistair just wants to play. Oh, and then you can actually see that on the ground there. That's of Nausea from What We Do in the Shadows. I'm using those art blocks, or the graphite on that. It's kind of dark with this camera, but I will get back to that someday once I'm done with these commissions. I have a plan to do all the characters because we love. It's like my favorite show of all time, I think. Definitely up there. And so I really want to, you know, have some art for myself, for the house. And I started a Laszlo one as well. Yes, it is such a good show. I'm so bummed it's over, but it was so well done. And I think it ended well. I don't know if you've seen the ending yet, if you've seen the last season. But definitely worth a watch. It's good stuff. Oh, another good show that's on Max, or soon to be back again, HBO Max. It's called The Pit. If you like medical dramas at all, highly recommend it. It is so good. It is like a whole shift of an emergency, like one of the busiest emergency rooms in the country. And it's got the guy from ER. Dante, get down. Noah Wiley, I think is his name. My cousin, she's actually my second cousin. She had a heart defect. She was born with a heart defect, and she has I forget what it's actually called, but she has the short arms, and she only has a few fingers on each hand. She's an amazing person, and she beat all the odds, and at 14 she actually got a heart transplant. But right before then, she was on Make-A-Wish. She was part of the Make-A-Wish Foundation because they didn't know if she was going to get a heart in time. And she got to go on to ER, and this was back when it was on, right? Back in the 90s. She's about 8 or 9 or 10 years older than me, so yeah, it was like in the mid 90s when ER was at its peak. And she got to meet them, got to meet Noah, and he was really nice, got to meet George Clooney, got to meet like the whole cast. She got to be an extra on one of the shows too. It was amazing. And then thank goodness shortly after she got herself a new heart, and she's doing really good. She even poor thing even had to battle cancer from the drugs that she has to take for the heart, you know, so that it doesn't reject her heart. So one of those drugs is known to cause cancer, and she had that. She battled it, she beat it, and she's good. And yeah, she lives out in, I think, Colorado now. Yeah, she's a wonderful person. And I miss her. I haven't seen her in years. I need to remedy that soon. And unfortunately, her poor mother passed away. Wonderful lady. I mean, she pretty much gave her whole life to her daughter, and It's super sad. She passed away kind of suddenly, and yeah, it happened right during COVID. No, it wasn't from COVID, but it happened during that. Ghost Hopper, hello, welcome in. Good to see you. We are just chugging along here, doing some painting. I am very slowly working on it. I literally haven't switched brushes, and I've just been working on kind of getting these darks in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to make it. I'm gonna have to have it dry again before I can go back over some of these. So this has kind of been what's happened with this piece. Is I keep going back over and over and over and over again the spots that I've already done, and thus it's taking me forever. But that's how it goes. Yeah, no, for sure. And I do, try to keep in touch on the social media and stuff, but I haven't just had a good combo with her in a while. So I'll reach out. I'll try to remember to. Okay. So yeah, right now I'm kind of doing a lot of, I call surgery. Dante, what are you doing? Dante, get out of there. There's a box I have under the table that has stuff in it. We have Morticia has greeted us with her presence. Let's see if she'll stay. I don't have a permanent cat cam out right now, but where'd she go? Oh, she went under the table. You can't really see her because she's black. Like, really dark. Morticia, leave Dante alone. Don't corner him back there. And then we got Alistair still waiting with the string. Right here, being a good boy, waiting for the camera to catch up. There it is. Yeah, his little shoelace. And don't mind my llama pajamas. Yes, I'm wearing pajamas. Because why the hell not? I legit have more pajamas than actual, like, pants now. Since I've been out of work for a few years now. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, nothing beats the comfort of jammies. But yeah, Ghost Hopper, I've got 6 cats. And 3 are in this room with me right now. The other 3 are sleeping. Hopefully. And again, if you guys hear like yelling and loud and laughing in the background, apologies. Boyfriend and his friend are playing video games out in the living room. And my boyfriend is very loud. Like, very loud. Which I love about him. Because I'm kind of quiet. So, I've got a bit more of that introvertedness where he's like super extroverted. Though I can be extroverted. But it's harder. Like, it takes more effort for me. Which is why it's harder to stream sometimes. But it's worth it. Getting to see you guys and talk. And again, I hate how slow this damn camera is being right now. But again, hopefully that'll be fixed later today when I get my new camera. I am so stoked about that. I know I keep bringing it up, but like I've literally wanted a camera like this for years. and I've just kept putting it off as far as like, instead of spending money on it, I've been spending money on materials and canvases and, you know, this new program I'm in. It's not cheap. The online mastery program. It's they charge like $330 a month for a year, but you get lifetime access to all the content, future and current. 2 years of coaching. You don't get a mentor. That costs extra to have like one-on-one, but I find the coaching is enough for me right now anyway. And that's why I'm on here, to help keep me accountable so that I don't have to pay $200 to pay someone to keep me accountable. Because I ain't rich, you know. I ain't rich like a lot of their clientele are. So this is what we be doing. My boyfriend, his hours just got cut at work, so, you know, I'm hoping to kind of, once I get the momentum going with the stream, you know, try to get some income from that to help us out, because I'm on a fixed income with my disability, and luckily I have good benefits because I paid for them when I was at a really good company. I used to work for a big consulting firm. Definitely always get long-term disability when it's offered to you. It's like $5 a paycheck, and it's worth it, because 60% of non-taxed pay is a lot better than whatever, like the 40% you'd get. Oh. I didn't even know I had a little Ko-Fi stream bot going. Music's your main art focus. You started doing the pour flow. That's right. You had the awesome fluid art that you showed yesterday. You're still working full time? Yeah. Oh, I couldn't do art and work full time. I couldn't. I mean, especially, you know, I'm sure you can relate. When I put my all into something, I put my all into it, right? And that leaves very little for other things. And I've had fibromyalgia, been diagnosed since I've had it since I was a teen, but wasn't officially diagnosed till my 20s. So since then, I mean, art really got put on the back burner to nothing, because I didn't have energy after working 10-hour days. I always, you know, had to work harder than other people to keep up, because I have ADHD as well, and time management isn't my forte. But yeah, so I mean, I get it. It's hard to do both. I feel like the best thing would be like a part-time job in art. Like, that would be the best way to balance it. But it's really hard to get enough to do that, you know? So, but I commend you for making it and trying and doing what you can, because every little bit matters. Because eventually you wake up one day, and which happened to me, and I was like, I'm not an artist anymore. It was like I didn't feel like I belonged. Yeah, it's tough, but you know, it's doable. It's livable. It could be worse. I'm grateful that it's not worse, you know? But yeah, would I wish I didn't have it? Yeah, of course. But I've learned that it doesn't keep me from doing things I want to do. It just keeps me from, like, I just have to plan recovery. You know? And I think that's something I have to keep reminding myself, and it's easy to lose sight of when you have to manage your spoons or your energy, you know. But once you find the right balance, It's definitely doable. My therapist has fibromyalgia actually, and so it's kind of nice having someone um, that really understands and that has a number of tips that's helped her because she's a workaholic. I mean, she told me she works till like 9 o'clock at night. um, that's gotta be rough, especially doing therapy where you're listening to other people's problems all day. But she's found a balance, and that's key. And I think with art, it's easier for me to find that balance than it's been with my IT career that I had before because, I think the worst part for me was jumping from meeting to meeting to meeting and then having to code in between them, like develop and do really highly focused work when you're having to jump from different topic to different topic. And, yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss that at all. I do miss working, though. I miss working. I miss it a lot. I miss the camaraderie, the social aspect, helping people out, because that's always been like my thing. I like to help and ease people's burdens as much as possible. It really brings me joy to help and support others. Maybe a little too much, and I've had to step back from that, because the whole people pleaser tendency isn't exactly healthy. But I'm trying to find a way where I can do both, without overdoing it, I guess. So we'll see. I think I want to get back into teaching. So I want to finish my program so I feel like I can teach it. Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. That is for sure. So you said music is your main art focus, huh, Ghost? What kind of music? And do you play an instrument, or do you sing? Both? All of the above? Or is it more like digital music? Music is a big deal for me as well. I don't have a natural singing voice though, but I love to sing. Trying to teach myself. You do improvised loop, okay. So, oh wow, play guitar, bass, drums, keys, vocals, and random things. Awesome. Yeah, pretty much anything that makes a noise is music, right? That's awesome. Oh, so you've written songs, composed ensembles, but you like free form, so kind of just improv, just letting it flow. That's impressive. I never got to that stage in my music endeavors. I was far too impatient as a teen when I was getting into music. I tried to teach myself guitar, and I'm not very good at teaching myself something. No rules, no rights or wrongs, just pure art. I love it. Yes. The thing is, though, to get that, like, you have to know the rules. You have to know it sounds good, right? Like, you have to have that understanding before you're able to just let it flow. And that's hard. That is a hard thing to master. But Music really drives the world, man. I would not be the person I am today without music. Especially when I was younger, when I had the energy. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there's varying levels. Oh, we got another kitty. We got Maxine saying hi. Hey, baby. Maxine. She's totally ignoring me. Again, another black cat. So a little hard to see her. And then there's Alistair again. He saw me move, so he had to come. And don't mind my foot. Yes. True cat form, ignoring me and getting into things. I know, bud. I know. But yeah, the two black kitties we have are sisters. They're litter mates. So they look, and one's long-haired, one's short, medium-haired. Okay, Marlene, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate you stopping by and chatting. Hugs to you as well. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And stay cool out there. It is getting warm outside. Okay, that's bugging me. That shape is off. There we go. But yeah, they're such sweet little girls. And they're actually my first girl cats that I've owned. I've always had boy cats. My very first cat was a boy that we had given to us because he scratched my cousin, who was like a baby at the time, and I was about almost 4. So we ended up taking the cat from my aunt, and he was such a cool cat. He had the extra thumbs, you know, the polydactyl. And he was a brown tabby, big old long tail, and he was. We lived in an area that we could allow them to be outside and inside at the same time. Even though it's Arizona, it gets hot, but he would come back at night. But now I live in an area that, I mean, you can't let a cat outside out here. Not unless you want it to become coyote food, hawk food, owl food. Yeah, I think those are pretty much the main predators that come close. We get coyotes all the time, big packs of them. And where we live, there's like a big solar farm right next to our house, so we're like right on the edge of nothing, basically, which is awesome for like our view, because we have a really nice view of the mountains from our backyard. But yeah, wildlife definitely has come closer than you're necessarily comfortable with. But really, it's because we're in their territory and not the other way around, you know? Yeah. It's taken some getting used to living out here, because I grew up in the city, you know? I grew up in a suburb, but it was a really populated one, like, you know, 300,000 people. Right outside of Phoenix, one of the major little suburbs. Gosh darn it. What are you doing? Nope. Okay, you're fine. Again, just trying to make sure the cats aren't killing themselves. I've made sure nothing is really, other than if they accidentally jump on my pallet, of course, nothing is open that they can get to. But cats will find a way. Let me tell you. But yeah. It's taken some getting used to, because now we live in a town that's got about, shoot, I don't know what it is now, but it was like 60,000, 70,000 population. So not like a small town, but a lot more. It's still considered like rural. We're not in the same county. Like, we're not even a town, technically. We're like unincorporated. So that's fun. We, you know, if we ever have to have the fire department or an ambulance called, it's going to cost us a pretty penny. But, you know, at least we don't have loud neighbors, and we don't hear sirens very often. It's just farmland. So there's lots of bonuses, lots of pluses, really, to living out here. Yeah, bud. So I'm trying to kind of, she's got like, I'm trying to put the shadows of her little hairs, and I'm really barely trying to touch the canvas, and I'm failing at it so far. But that's okay, because I'm going to go back over this with light. So sometimes it's just easier to block in swaths of dark. So then when I go back over with the light, it's got depth to it. Whereas it's pretty flat, right? You know, otherwise. I think the hardest part for me so far is trying not to go in too early with highlights, because you get excited, you know? You know, like, because that's like when it really starts to pop, you get the highlights in with the darks, and it's magical. But if you go in too soon, you're going to run the risk of it looking very flat, because it's too light. It doesn't have enough dark to counteract the contrast of the light. But I tell you, probably the biggest thing that really has helped me explore and get the courage to try new mediums and really try to focus on portrait work, which is obviously some of the hardest you can do, because it's very exact. You know, you're off by a millimeter and the person can look different. For example, the guy behind me, in this charcoal drawing behind me, does not look like the source that I drew from. He kind of looks like David Bowie, but he is not David Bowie. It's just like a young model, random Pinterest photo. I love it though. It's one of my favorite drawings. It was one of the assignments on my art program. And I love it because I did it in only like 2.5, 3 hours on that big a paper, 22 by 30. And, coming from a place where it would take me 10 to 15 hours to draw a little 9 by 12 portrait, letting go of details and just focusing on values is key. Because details, you don't even see details when you're looking at it far away. And most art is meant to be looked at far away. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my details, but I think that was kind of the biggest light bulb moment for me, was just realizing that you don't have to put all the details in. Especially as you see them. I'm trying not to give her a black look. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Let's see, did you get, oh yeah, you did. Well, we got a cat who stepped in some Give me a second, guys. Cat painting, yes. So I'm trying to wipe her paws because I think she only got it on one. And luckily, I think she only stepped in the black, so. This is Maxine. Leaving little black paw prints on me. But she's so good. Look, she's just letting me hold her like this. I've never had a cat that's let me hold them like this. Licked paint. Oh my god. Well, that's the thing, like, because they lick their paws, right? Like, she's gonna lick it. But luckily, this is not toxic pigments. Because oil paint isn't toxic. It's, well, certain pigments are. Like cadmium. I think Viridian is another one. But oil paint itself is actually better than, like, you know, other paints in a way, because it's just made with oil and pigment. As long as that pigment isn't toxic, it's fine. But I do have some cadmium on here, only a little bit, and it's just over here, so she didn't step on it. She only stepped in the black. But yeah, I need to find a better way to block them from getting up here. Because she just jumped up before I could even have a hope to stop her. I'm cleaning my brush now. I think I'm gonna switch to some warm colors. Which you definitely want. Watch out, bud. I don't want to roll you over. Which you don't want to mix warm and cool together, because when you, well, unless you're, okay. So, like I was explaining this a little earlier, and for some who might not have shown up or don't know, with oil paints, the reason I have my palette laid like this is I have all my cool colors far away from me, because cool colors recede and go back in space, so that's how I remember where to put it on my palette. And then I have warm colors in front, and then in the middle is like the neutral zone. So if I want to mix like a neutral color, which would be like an in-between, like let's say on her, the cheeks are going to be warm, and then this side's cool, like her neck is cool because that's receding into space, but this part of her cheek right here is going to be more neutral because it's in between. I'm going to wait for my camera to catch up with me. Gosh, I can't wait to get the new camera. Anyway, so, and the way to make neutrals is mixing warm and cool together, or just mixing with white, really kind of neutralize. White is a neutral color, or neutral, that's not really a color, but white is neutral. And that's why if you mix white with your colors, it kind of turns chalky and less vibrant because it's neutralizing that color. So if you want vivid colors, you have to kind of mix colors together and figure, that's where the color theory comes into play. which I'm still learning. But hey, stop it. So yeah. So one thing that can happen, and is a common issue that happens with oil painting when you're first learning, and especially if you don't know what you're doing, and this is happening to me, was the colors will get like muddy because you're mixing, you know, wet paint on wet paint. And if you mix like the warm and you don't know what's warm and cool and you mix them together, they're just going to be kind of blah, right? So learning that was like huge for me. Not everyone knows that or goes by this kind of method. It was something that they taught in that program. But it's pretty interesting. And it's cool to see it work. So like I took all the paint off of this brush so I can kind of soften some of that shadow back there. But I like to keep cool and warm away from each other. So for my warm, I'm going to use a smaller brush, this little filbert. And I think I'm going to try to work on the dog's fur. What's that? So, let's see. Trying to. I've got some kind of dried paint on here that's still got some wetness, so I'm trying to squeeze it. Paint is expensive, you know. But this dog has that kind of tan, kind of a golden honey, like a honey color. So we're going to try to create that. And so far, again, I'm not using any white. I'm just mixing the colors and trying not to get any what I call paint boogers in there, because that's a no-no. That's a big no-no. I found it more with acrylic. It's easier to get those with acrylic because acrylic dries so fast. But if you ever find you're painting and your paint's drying and you get those little like sticky parts on your canvas, it is a bit of a nightmare. To get that out. And if you have it on your canvas, and like if you ever want to go oh yeah, Floeterol. Yeah, I know. I used to when I was doing the fluid art. I've got here. I'll show you a couple of my pieces I have lying around here. I've given some away, and I haven't done fluid art since like 2020, but mostly because for me, I think the not being able to predict what happens kind of bugged the heck out of me. But here's one, like a rainbow one I did. That is one of my favorites. And I did this like as an open cup. Sorry, I'm trying to an open cup pour where it kind of bubbled underneath it, you know, and I got to move it around. It was fun. And This was another rainbow one that this is probably one of my favorites as well. Let me just wait for the camera to catch up. I like the white, kind of like how your rainbow one had the big white in the middle too. I think it just really brings it out when you have those contrasts. So, super fun, super fun. And you know, as I explore more, I may start to combine it, you know, because I really love abstract backgrounds with like realism on top. Like I love that mix, and that's kind of what I want to attempt eventually. Yeah, exactly, Ghost. It's like you got an idea, you see something, you want to try it, and then you attempt it, and then it turns out like poop. This one, the one I just showed you was a tree ring pour I did, trying to mimic that style, you know, that process. So that's why it kind of had that jaggediness to it. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And I showed my boyfriend how to paint with those too. Our bathroom, he got super excited. He decorated our bathroom. And he's a big horror fan. Like a big horror fan. And he, so right now I want to add some cool to make that recede. So I'm switching to my other brush. Getting kind of the cool opposite of this. So I'm using this transparent earth yellow, and I'm going to mix some raw umber in there. So it's a bit darker. I might actually grab some of this light yellow. If it's not, it's a little dry too. It's got some opaque in it, so I don't really want too much of that because, yeah, actually I want a little more red tone. It's all, so I try to, when I'm mixing cools, I probably mix this a little too in the center here. My hand's like blocking it. But, but that way I mix my cools with the cools and my warms with the warms, and then I try to stick with the neutrals in the middle. So this is kind of both. This is a bit cool, but it can be a little neutral because we're kind of coming from the cool to the front, and neutral is a good kind of in between. And I'm not worrying too much about the highlights yet, like the white of the fur of the dog, which you can't tell because no one really is seeing the reference too much. I should probably have a picture of the reference up. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you prefer to have the reference to look at so you can kind of see what I'm going for, or does it matter to you? Let me know. Because I'm cool either way. I'm not afraid to show, you know, the source of what I'm attempting to do. Even if I'm not getting it 100%. It's still, you know. Okay. Cool. Well, let me know. I'm sure I can pop something up real quick in case anyone wants to see it. And it's a beautiful picture. I'm also really just got lucky because my friend who commissioned me to do this, she's a photographer. Well, amateur. She's very talented, but she doesn't do it full time. But she took this picture of her daughter and this sweet pup who passed away. This is a memorial portrait for her, actually. This adorable doggo, unfortunately, is no longer with us. But you can just see the love in their expressions. And I am really hopeful she loves it. And it helps her process, you know. Sometimes, you know, with like memorial, I've actually done a few memorial portraits now, and it's sad, but it's like, it means a lot to me that anyone would even trust me to do it, you know. So I am very, what's the word, honored to have the opportunity to paint someone's lost pet, you know. Because I love pets. I mean, I've always had a pet since I was a little kid. I've always had either a cat or a dog. And, or both. At one point I had rats, I had mice, I had hamsters, I had guinea pigs. Yeah, I've always been pretty obsessed with animals. And I feel like they give so much of themselves for us. So, getting to give a little back is awesome. I'm trying to add variation. I hate, you know, everything looking samey. It can be real easy to fall into that pattern though, because like, it's hard to tell what colors you're looking at. Like honestly, I see a little blue. So I'm gonna take just a little blue and just kind of mix it into my mix here to get a bit of it's almost like a greenish color now because of all the yellow. But that's what I see when I'm looking at the photo. It just takes time really to kind of start seeing what colors are actually there. Okie doke, Ghost. Thanks so much for hanging out. Good luck with your house stuff. And have a wonderful Saturday. And thank you. I really do appreciate you coming and hanging out. It makes it a lot easier having someone to talk to. Though I don't mind just talking. I know I just, you know, I don't know what I was going to say. But anyway, thanks. I might actually take a quick break. I just realized I've been pretty much going 2 hours straight without a break. And I need to stand up and stretch. And I can't believe I've been going 2 hours straight and I have like nothing done though. So that's the other side of it. Like, no, I need to have more done than literally just doing what I've already done. Oh, it feels so good to be streaming again now, guys. It really does. I've missed this. I've missed this a lot. Now I'm adding some red. I know I just said I was going to take a break and I didn't. I do need to though. So his little ear has some kind of red on the top and a little bit of red here. And again, I'm using a warm color, but I may neutralize that a bit. And that's kind of the cool thing again with oils. If you go too warm or too cool, because like now the ear kind of looks like it's jumping out at us a bit instead of going back in space. So when it dries, I can glaze over that with some cool colors to push it back again, which is cool. So now I'm still kind of going in with that same color, laying down, because it's kind of a mix. Like there's a lot of white, gold, beige, tan colors going on here. And so I'm really just focusing on the base. I'm trying to ignore the white and just like see what's under it. Way easier said than done, mind you. So I'm just kind of adding colors. And sometimes it's okay if the color's not right. Like it's the value is what matters. The value is what's important. Cause I'm still pretty new to color in general. I've dabbled since a teenager, but you know, and I took color theory in college. I got a C in it because it was so boring. Just painting color wheels and stuff is just not my idea of a good time. But what helps is just kind of doing it, you know, just trying things out, taking the pressure off too is big, because I mean I put far too much pressure on myself when it comes to this, because you know, especially with portrait art, you kind of have to be pretty accurate to look like the thing you're doing or you're trying to capture. But there's so many tools out there to make that easier. It takes some of the load off. Okay. I'm gonna go stretch. Take a quick break. Wash the brushes. I've killed many a good brushes from not washing them well. And I think I'm only gonna be on for another probably 30 minutes, because that's when I'm gonna go pick up my camera. And it may actually be a little sooner than that. So I'm gonna take just a quick break, since we're gonna be probably wrapping up in about 20 minutes. And it's also not good to leave your brushes in your solvent, especially where you've got the brush down in the solvent, because it will ruin your brush. So if you want to keep your brushes in good shape, you want to clean them off real good so you're not getting anything on the rag, and then you just store it upright so that it won't misshape your brush, because otherwise it'll look like this and be all bent, and that's sad. I mean, it'll still work, but anyway. Okay, I'll be right back, folks. Uno momento. almost fell there. All right. So, I think trying to figure out what I want to work on for the next few minutes. Actually, folks, my phone's about to die. I think we're gonna probably go ahead and just call it here for now. And it'll probably be for the best anyway. It'll be good to let some of this paint dry. And that way I can go back over it. The one thing I want to do before before my phone dies is these paws. I want to get the dark cool glazes in first here. And the dog's got a bit of, let me make some black. So it's a little darker. And I'm mixing the gel so I can get a nice glaze. And we're gonna go in, and the paws aren't exact yet. And again, I'm just trying to get the darks, the shadows between each little pata. Because there's these little empty. The yellow that you're seeing is from the underpainting that I have below. And yeah, I want to cover all that up. It shouldn't have any showing anymore at this stage. So yeah, I'm just trying to kind of get those shadows in, and the paw is actually going to go up. Like this dark is actually going to be white or gray because the little paw's coming under her chin, the way she's holding him. So yeah, we'll do that so that when we go in, probably on Monday or Tuesday, then I don't have to worry about that part. I can just go in with the lighter gray color. And again, the dog is a little bit small here, so this dark will be covered up with some of the white, and this is not going to be as dark back there either. Things I've got to remember. Okay. Smoke. Go. That is not someone I want. Ban Smoke-a-Sack. Sack. What a name. Okay. Alright. I think I'm good with stopping there. Oh, hold on. I missed this Doesn't have to be pretty. There we go. Actually, mind doing a little bit of that here too. And what I'm doing right now is called scumbling. And this is only possible on dry canvas. So I'm just kind of laying out a base to be under when I go in with the gray, the white and gray of the little muzzle. And we'll do that next time. Okay. Sure, I clean my brush. Again, I could not recommend a can more than anything for your solvent. It is so nice having those ridges to really get all that paint off your brush. And it saves me some headaches. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to clean up. I'm not going to do the same thing I did to myself last time. We're going to actually clean this up together. Because this stuff is a lot harder to clean when it's dry. So I just kind of clean up my main mixes here, and I'll leave the blobs, because those will last for a few days before I need to change it. If I was using a smaller palette that I could cover, then I would definitely do that and stick it in the freezer, because that will last for a while. You can keep your paints pretty fresh in the freezer. But this palette's too big and it doesn't fit in my freezer. This is when I made this with some glass. I got some glass from the hardware store, and at the hardware store they sold whiteboard, like MDF board, but already painted white to act as whiteboard. And so I just bought a piece of that, and then I just duct taped it on. So then I didn't even have to paint anything, because it was already white. And it's far cheaper than buying a pre-made glass palette. But glass palettes are definitely the way I recommend to paint with oils, for sure. It is awesome. Okay. Well, friends, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and being here for my new test stream. I especially appreciate those who came by and chatted, but I always appreciate those who lurk and just hang out in the background. That is amazing. And I'm super thrilled to have you guys here and get back into streaming. Fingers crossed I can stay consistent this time. Of course, keep in mind my pain issues always take first. I can't always get in front of a camera, but I'm gonna do my best to do it at least 2 days a week to start, and we'll go from there and see how it goes. Thanks, Ghost. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm gonna probably put that together once I get home or tomorrow and work on setting that up with the new camera. Probably do a little videos as well. Maybe finally finish up this horse So while I'm waiting for this one to dry, so I can finish that assignment. Scorpintas! Oh, it's so good to see you. I miss you so much, homie. Scorpinta's here. We've been friends for, 20 years now? Almost? Almost, yeah. Because, 2005. Yeah, 20 years. Holy shit. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will see you Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Arizona time, Pacific time. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I just realized that. Oh, crazy stuff. I gotta make a trip out to see you soon. It's been too long. It's been too long. But anyway, Maxine and I wish you all adieu. She's waiting for the camera to catch up. Yeah, the little baby. You guys have a good rest of your Saturday. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.